Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this structured detail on a pencil skirt. So this structured detail on the pencil skirt, you can see how it's looking well structured attached to your pencil skirt, as you can see. So I'll be teaching you the easiest method to make this skirt. If you're making a gown, all you need to do is to place your upper bodice to it. Okay, so this is actually looking so beautiful and structured, as you can see on the thumbnail. Okay, so if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. In this class, I'll be showing you or teaching you the easiest method to make this structured peplum. Okay, making your pencil skirt with a side structured detail. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn, as you can see right there on the thumbnail side. I just want to show you how to sew this accurately and the easiest method to go about this without much details. So I'll be working with my stay. So what I have here is my peplum stay. We'll be using it for the front structure, the side structure on the skirt, and I'll be using this fabric for the structure, that is the side structure. And I'm using two fabric for my front and back because I don't have much fabric, but I need to demonstrate this for you to see. So I'm going to fold my fabric now, the normal way we do fold our fabric when you are making your skirt. So if you are sewing your skirt, normally this is how we go about folding it. So this particular color, I want to make use of it for the back, so I just lay it for my back, and this is the part I want to make use of for my front. This is my front skirt. So it depends on the kind of skirt you are making. What I mean by kind of skirt is if it's long or if it's short, you want to add this structure to. So whatever you want to make, the length of this skirt depends on you, it's by choice and what you want. So here I place this on fold because this is the front piece of my skirt, and this is my 1-inch seam allowance, which I'm going to use to sew my zipper, my slits, and whatever. So I'll just go ahead now and secure my skirt pattern piece with my pin. Then we'll begin to cut out our skirt pattern right away. So this skirt I'm making, because it has a structure, I'm not bothered about putting a dart to it. So in other words, I'm going to make it dartless. So we are starting this tutorial by first making our border line, which will serve as our waistline for this skirt. Okay, so note that here is on fold and we have a zipper allowance as usual. Okay, so the next I'm going to take is my hip line from the waistline. This is my waistline. I'll take my hip line. So whatever your hip line is from your waist line, just try and take it. Then after our hip line comes our knee line, because we are making a pencil skirt. So this is my knee line. So you have to take these measurements yourself. Okay, so this line is that is 4 inches above my knee. Okay, so my actual knee right here, is 22, but I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 because this is a pencil skirt, so you don't need to mark this line on the actual line. So this is my knee, where the position of my knee is. You count 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how I got 18. And then the full length of this skirt, I'll use 41. It's a long skirt, we are making right here. So I just go ahead and cut out my skirt. All right, so the next we'll start imputing now is our circumferences. So this is my hip line. I'll just go ahead and come up by 2 inches for my upper hip. Then I'll rule my line 2 inches for my upper hip. This is my actual hip, which is the lower hip and the upper hip. So from this waistline right now, we are going to measure our waist circumference. Remember, there is no dots. There is no dots, okay? So I'll just go ahead and measure what my waist is. So whatever your waist is, measure. I'm working with waist 9 inches. I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll come to my upper hip and take my measurement of my hip. I'm working with hip 11.5. That is 46 divided by 4, which is 11.5. I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance. So whatever I have here, I'll also measure it on my lower hip. Lower hip is 46 divided by 4 plus 1.5. All right, so once that is done, I'm going to take the measurement of everything I have from here to here, which is 12.5, and I'll take away 1.5 from 12.5. So if I take away 1.5 for the knee line, okay, this is it. If you want it 2 pencil, take away 2 inches, okay? But if you want it less pencil, take away 1.5. So from this center front now, I had 12.5, and if I take away 1.5, I have 12.5 here, inclusive of the seam allowance. Inclusive of the seam allowance. So inclusive of the seam allowance, 12.5, take away 1.5. This is 12.5. This is 1.5. We have it at 11. But if you want to take away 2 inches, you want it 2 penciled, we have it at 10.5. So I just want it 2 pencil. So I put it at 10.5. So whatever I have here, since it's a pencil skirt, whatever I have at the knee line, I have 10.5. So I'll go over to the hem. I'll also measure the 10.5 from the center front. I'll measure the 10.5 from the center front, inclusive of the seam allowance. I believe you understand this. So I'll just go ahead and rule a straight line from the hem, connecting it to the to my knee line, and then I'll come over here first. The upper hip, I'll connect with a straight line with the upper hip. Then I'll come with my curve ruler, and connect from waist to the upper hip. And finally, I'll come with my curve ruler this way and connect from lower hip to the knee. So we've added our seam allowances. So our skirt is ready, and you can see what we have for this structure. So I will just add 0.5 seam allowance, because this particular skirt, we are going to add it to make a blouse, a gown. So even if you are making attaching a band to it, you still need to add your seam allowance. So I'll just go ahead and cut. So I'll just follow the shape of my chalk line to the knee. From the knee, I'll just go down. All right, so this is our skirt. You can see that this is our pencil skirt. So my 1 inch zipper, I just want to clean up the edges for my 1 inch zipper allowance and my back slits. So if you are making a back slit, I'm just cleaning up the edges now. All right, so this is what we are working with now. As you can see, can you see that? That is what we are working with. So the next thing we are going to do now, we want to make a notch at the center front for the front piece of the skirt, because that is actually the piece we are working with. So I'll separate the back till we get to the back piece. So this is our skirt pattern, and it's on this skirt that we are going to make our structure. Okay, so I'll turn it to the right side. So we are going to make our structure to this dress. So to make this structure to this dress, the first thing we are going to do is to mark out where the structure detail is going to be. This is the center front where we have so you determine where you want your structure detail to be. So from the center front, I'll measure to the end of my skirt. I'll get the midpoint. That is if you want it to start from the midpoint. But if you want it to start very close to the side, all you need to do is, this is the seam allowance, you take it away. That is 1 inch. You can just do from the seam allowance, let's do 2.5 inches. Okay, so it depends on where you actually want this detail to start. So I want it to start from here on the waistline. This is the waistline. It will start after, once we take 1 inch, that is after 2 inches it will start. It depends on where you want it to start. Then on the knee, if you want it to stop on the knee, that is by the side, the detail to stop at the knee. This is the upper knee which we measured. You can see how it curved in. So from here I might make it to stop exactly at my knee. If it's stopping exactly at my knee, it means this is the 4 inches I told you to go up before we marked our knee. Then if you want it a little more down, you can do another more 4 inches. That is if you want it a little more down. So this is my knee position. I want it 2 inches after my knee position. So I'll just mark at this point. And this is where I want my structured detail to start from. So we are going to measure from this mark we made now. You have to determine where you want it. So you see how I'm measuring it. I'm taking my measurements because this is where we are going to sew our details. Can you see that? I took it to 24 inches. I have 24.5 because I'm going to sew 1/2 inch. So I took it to 24. From that 24, I'll now, I'll place the 24. So I'll get the full measurement at that point. And here I have 41.5. That is my structured detail. So this 21.5, I'll come in with my fabric which I'm going to use to make this structure. So I'm placing my fabric on fold, as you can see. Alright, so I've placed my fabric on fold, and this fabric I placed on fold right now, the length is 42 inches. Remember we measured 41. I added 1 inch for seam allowance for up and down. So the width is 7 inches. Okay, so we have it at width 7 inches. That is on fold. You can see I placed it on fold. So if you open it, you'll be having 14 inches. So the next thing we'll do is to bring back the skirt pattern piece, measure the point at which we want the structure on the skirt part to stop. From here, it's going to stop after 1 inch because our seam allowance is 1 inch. Can you see? So I'll count 1.5 inches. This half is so it doesn't really touch the seam allowance, so you have space to sew the side. So which is 16.5. So from here to here now, taking away the 1.5 inch, I have 16.5. So I'm going to measure from this point. I'll measure my 16.5. So this is 16.5. I'll sew 1/2 inch, so I'll make it 17. So this is 17 inches. I'll make a mark. Then I'm going to get the midpoint of what I have from here to my end. From that 17.5 to the part that will go to the knee, I'll find the midpoint. This is the midpoint. So in this, between this midpoint now, I'm going to reduce this structure from 7. I'm going to make it 4.5. Okay. Then at the end, I'm going to reduce it a little bit more to about 3, because this part will be penciled. Okay. So you understand what we are doing here by the time I start curving it. So from the beginning now, I'm going to curve from this point. Okay. You can see how I'm curving it. I'm curving my structure. Okay. Let me come again. I'll just start from here because we have already added our seam allowance. So this is the shape we have on the thumbnail. So by the time you get to this point, you start curving it into, because at this point, it starts reducing. Okay, you can see. And from here, we'll keep it straight. We'll keep it straight. And then bring it to meet up with what we have right here. And you see. So by the time I cut it, you understand what we actually did here. So now I'm going to cut what I have right here. So you can secure with your pin, which is very important. Okay, so now I've secured with my pin. So I'll start from the lower piece to cut now. So you have to be creative while cutting this. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make my structure detail smaller. It will get smaller and smaller. Okay, so it depends on how small you actually want it. So if I come from here, so I'll start increasing it this way till I get. Okay, so this is it now, and this is the part we are going to sew. Now you bring in your tape, place your pattern on top of it, and cut exactly what we have on the pattern, as you can see. So we are going to place it on top, go to the. Alright, so now I'm done sewing the structure. Can you see? I just sewed at 0.5 to the end. So what I'm going to do now, always clean up the edges. Clean up the edges. Whenever you are working with a peplum stay, make sure you clean up the edges so it will be easy for you to turn. Okay, so if you have it uncleaned, you will struggle to turn it. So even if you are making a peplum, make sure you clean up the edges. But when you are doing that, please be careful you don't cut off the stitches. So I've cleaned up the edges. So in order for me to turn this, I need to do what? Cut the mid line. So I just cut the mid line, that center line, so we'll be able to turn. And this is the part we are going to sew. All right, so once that is done, you can go ahead and top stitch if you want. Okay, but for this class, I'm not top stitching. You can also add your hemming gum while sewing. Okay, so by the time you iron it, you add your hemming gum here and sew on top of it. So by the time you iron it, your hemming gum helps it stick better for you. So this is it. So I'll go ahead now to sew this side. This side, I'm going to stitch it together to hold it down. Let me do that. Alright, so I'm done sewing them together, as you can see. So you can go ahead and give it a good press before you attach to your peplum, to your skirt. So this is my skirt part, and this is the mark at which we are going to attach it. So I'll just go ahead and sew from here to here. Then once I get to that 1.5, I'll move ahead and sew down to the point of my where we want the structure to stop. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sew right now. So now we are going to sew. So this is the mark we have, and that is where we are going to start sewing the structure detail. So I'll make sure I have my detail at that point. I'll sew from center front and secure that part first. So once I've done that, next I'll go ahead and start from center front again. So I'll be able to sew to that point. So remember that we are stopping at 1.5. That was our measurement, and this is it. You can just make a mark. You can make a mark to the 1.5. So this is my mark. So once I get here, I will backstitch, raise up my presser foot and turn. Can you see? So I will give that space of 1 inch, which I'm going to use to sew. So I'll turn it this way. Can you see how I'm turning it? So this is the most technical part of it. So make sure you are at that point. So let me come a little bit closer. Then I'll raise my presser foot. So remember that we have a seam allowance, and that seam allowance is 1 inch. So you have to give way at least 1.5 inch all through. Okay, no, 1 inch, sorry, 1 inch. The upper part is 1.5 because of, so it will be easy to sew. So I'm giving a space of 1 inch because we are going to join the basket to this point. So I'll sew it down to the point where we want the structure to stop, and there we'll backstitch. So right now I'm done sewing the structured part. So the next thing I'll do now, I'll pick up my skirt's back. So the back skirt piece, I'll pick it up, and I'm going to match the waistline. Can you see? So I'll match the waistline right away, turn it to the right side, so I'll be able to follow the seam allowance. Okay, so I just follow my seam allowance, as you can see right here. I'll just go ahead and stitch right on top of the seam allowance. So the seam allowance is 1 inch. Okay, so make sure the distance you have here should be at 1 inch. All right, so now I'm going to sew the other side. The joining of the other side is easy, so I'm going to sew it right away and we are done. So right now you can see the skirt, okay, and this is the structured part of it right now. Can you see that? And this is how it is at the side, so you need to sew it to the side. So by the time you attach it to the skirt, you have that detail. So you can even make hair smaller and come out bigger. So it's all your creativity and your choice. So the next thing we are going to do now, if you have an upper bodice like this, just go ahead and do what? Mark the center point, center front, and match it up. So this is what you'll be having at the end of the day, and our structure is ready. As you can see, looking beautiful, as you can see. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming. See you in the next one. Bye.